All right, today we are going to be practicing more of our level 1 workbook. This is the book that we have been working through in these live streams. Today we are going to be learning about an. Just a quick recap of the table of contents. We've been through all of this content so far, and today we're going to be looking at an, this grammar form right here. So if you want to go back and learn about any of these previous grammar forms, you can go back into previous live streams. I've got them up on YouTube, but for now we're going to be looking at an. This is on page 69. So an is a very useful grammar form that's used for making negative verbs. What does that mean? A negative verb is a verb that is negative. So for example, the negative version of eat is not eat, or negative version of fun is not fun, things like that. So you can use this an sound to make that not meaning in Korean. Okay, so the first exercise that we have is just conjugating with an. By the way, remember that this workbook is supported by the textbook. So if you are not sure where to start or what's going on, make sure you check out the textbook first. So first you read the chapter in the textbook, and then afterwards you answer the questions in the workbook. Okay, so exercise 1 is, given the following verbs, add an and conjugate each verb into the present tense. We learned about that in a previous chapter. Remember that an goes in the middle of separable harder verbs. So we'll look at this as a little bit as well. Number A, 먹다. 먹다 means to eat. In Korean, 먹다 means to eat. And to add an, you just put it before the verb. So an, 먹다. And how do we make that into the present tense? Well, it becomes 먹어요. If you need to practice present tense, remember to practice that in earliest chapters, but basically because we have this ending with an o sound, we attach 어요, and it makes it the present tense. So 먹다 becomes 안 먹어요, which means I don't eat. Now, this 안 먹어요, meaning I don't eat, doesn't necessarily mean I never eat. Is this the conversational grammar textbook? This is the conversational Korean grammar textbook. This is the conversational Korean grammar workbook. So they go together. But yes, 안 먹어요 doesn't necessarily mean I don't eat ever. It could mean like I don't eat that, or I don't eat this. Like if someone's saying like, oh, have this bowl of chicken, you could say 안 먹어요, like I don't eat chicken, for example. Anyway, this next verb is 좋다. 좋다. Does anyone know what the verb 좋다 means in Korean? This verb right here, 좋다. Can zoom in a little bit. 좋다. Is anyone here watching? No. Is that to like? Yes. Good. To like something, or for something to be likable, nice, good, anything like that. With which book should I start? You should start with the textbook, this one right here, and then get this book to go along with it. Okay, depending on your level, I'm assuming you're a beginner. Okay, so 좋다, you can just say 안 좋아요. 안 좋아요. So 좋아요 by itself means it's good or I like it. If you say 안 좋아요, it means I don't like it. So if anyone asks you, what do you think? How is it? You could say 안 좋아요. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not good. I don't like it. Can you show the book again, please? Sure. So this is the book that I'm using right now, the level 1 workbook. This is what the cover looks like. It's a little zoomed in, but you can kind of see it. It's got green siding. Okay, now we have number 3, 공부하다. Does anyone know what this verb means in Korean? 공부하다? To study. Tina, beautiful, thank you. It means to study. Now, 공부하다, how do we conjugate this with an? So this one is tricky. This one is a little bit tricky. So see this note here about, remember that an goes in the middle of separable hada verbs. So kombuhada is a separable hada verb. What does that mean? It means that kombuhada is a combination of two parts. We have the noun kombu, which means study, and you have hada, which means to do. So a separable hada verb has these two parts, and when you have a separable hada verb, an has to go in the middle. So kombu 안 해요. I don't study. So if you say 안 공부해요, everyone will still understand you, obviously. They still know what you mean, but it's much more natural to put 안 in the middle because it is a separable hada verb. So 공부 안 해요 means I don't study. All right, next one. 재미있다. This one is also actually a little bit tricky, but you can say 안 재미있어요. Oh, also, what does 재미있다 mean? Say it out loud if you, or write it down if you know. 재미있다, to enjoy, to be fun. Perfect, yes. To be fun or interesting, to enjoy something. Something is enjoyable. Anything like that is 재미있다. And you can say 안 재미있어요, which means it's not enjoyable, but it's usually just more natural to say 재미없어요. We have a note about this in the back as well. You can say 안 재미있어요, like it's okay, everyone will understand, but 재미없어요 is usually more natural. 재미없어요 is the opposite of 재미있어요. So when you change this 있어요 into this 없어요, it makes it the opposite meaning. So you can say either. Now we have 운동하다. Does anyone know what 운동하다 means in Korean? 운동하다. Exact. Yes, perfect. It means to exercise. To exercise. Now, how do we add 안 into this verb, conjugate it with this verb? This one is also a separable hada verb. So be careful, again, because it's separable, the 안 should go in the middle. So because we have these two parts, we have the noun, which means 운동, which means exercise, and we have hada to do. So 운동 안 해요. 운동 안 해요. Nini, perfect. So because it's separable, this is the most natural. Again, if you say 안 운동해요, everyone will understand you. This is just more natural to say. All right. And F, finally we have 맛있다. Does anyone know what 맛있다 means in Korean? To be delicious. Yes, thank you. To be delicious. To be tasty. Yes, L, also a great translation. To be delicious, tasty, yummy, anything like that is also really good. And so how do we add 안 to this? Well, you can say 안 맛있어요. Now again, notice this 있어요, 없어요 thing. It's the same thing going on here. You can say 안 맛있어요, but it's usually more natural to say 맛없어요. 맛없어요. That is the same meaning. This is probably more natural in most situations. It means it does not have flavor, it is not tasty, it is not good, or it tastes bad. 맛없어요. You can say that if you go and try something that you don't like. You can say, oh, 맛없어요, it doesn't taste good. All right. Let's do some more exercises. Number 2, translate into English. Given the Korean sentences, write an equivalent English expression. Okay. A is 저는 고기를 안 먹어요. 저는 고기를 안 먹어요. So how do we translate this into English? Well, first let's look at each of the parts. We start with 저는. Oh, I need to buy workbook 3 now. Yes, workbook 3 is now available. So definitely go check it out. 저는, this means I. So we're going to start with this. I. Riley, yes, very good. Now we have 고기. Kogi means meat. Kogi means meat. So I meet, and then an, remember this is our grammar form, an 먹어요. We had 먹어요 before, that means to eat. 안 먹어요 means to not eat. So I meet, not eat. Or I don't eat meat. Eating meat is something I do not do. I do not do it. I do not eat meat. B. 저는 글루텐을 안 먹어요. 글루텐을 안 먹어요. So this has 저는, which again means I. Now this word here, gluten, you guys can probably guess what that is. It's an English word that has been written, that's how it is said in Korean, how it's written in Korean, but you probably recognize this word. It's gluten. 저는 글루텐을 안 먹어요. So I, gluten, don't eat. I don't eat gluten. So if you are gluten intolerant, you might want to learn these sort of expressions. If you want to say to someone, I don't eat gluten or I can't eat gluten. 저는 글루텐을 안 먹어요. All right, what about C? 톰은 커피를 안 마셔요. We've got some new words here. First we start with Tom. Tom is a name. Tina, nice, good job. So Tom, what about Tom? Coffee. Coffee is coffee. Pizza, I can't be friends with Tom. Yeah, I don't think we would get along, right? I mean, no coffee dates ever. I don't think we could really be friends. Tom은 커피를 안 마셔요. So Tom, coffee, does not drink. 마셔요 is to drink in Korean. So Tom, coffee does not drink, or Tom does not drink coffee. Thank you, your lovely sunshine. All right, and what about this last one? 사라는 요리를 안 해요. Does anyone know what this 요리 is in Korean? What 요리 means? To cook, easy, yes. Cook or cooking. Pizza, chima, yes, beautiful. So 사라는, we're talking about Sarah now, or Sarah. 요리, cooking, does not do. So Sarah or Sarah does not cook. Sarah does not cook. All right. So now we've done some exercises from Korean into English. So let's do the other way around. Let's go from English into Korean. Let's make some Korean sentences using an. And we'll do a little highlight here as well, just to focus on it. All right. How are there two verbs? Well, it's really one verb. So this 요리를 하다 is kind of all one thing. 요리하다 is the verb. But the thing about this little an grammar form is that in some verbs it has to go in the middle. That's just kind of where it's got to go. And this is one of these special verbs. They're called separable hada verbs. And that's why this one goes in the middle. Yes. All right. So let's translate. I do not work. Okay. So we have a new verb here we have to know. Does anyone know what the verb is to work? Does anyone know what that is? 일하다. Tina, yes. 일하다. Woof, 9, perfect. 일하다 means to work. Now, careful. 일하다 also is, oh my gosh, sorry about that. Just knocked my phone. 일하다 also means to work, and it is a separable hada verb. It is a it's interesting, the same in German. That's super interesting. It's a separable hada verb, which means that an has to go in the middle. So 저는 일, right? And then an. An goes in the middle. 일 안 해요. 저는 일 안 해요. I do not work. You can, if you like, put an object particle here. 저는 일을 안 해요 is also good. Or 저는 일 안 해요. I do not work. Okay. Next we have Mary does not exercise. All right, what is the verb to exercise in Korean? We had it a little bit earlier. It might even be on this. It is on the screen. Why put an object particle there? So the thing, remember that what object particles do? Object particles connect nouns to verbs. And when you have a separable hada verb, you have two parts. You have the noun and you have the verb. In this case, il is the noun, it means work, and hada is the verb meaning to do. And what an object particle does is it connects those two things together. So it's optional though, because it's pretty clear that these are together, but that's what this object particle is doing. It's just saying that this noun is the object of this verb. But it's not needed, right, correct. You don't need to put it there, it's just an option. And this is the cover of the book, the Level 1 workbook. This is what it looks like. You can screenshot it if you want to find it later. It's also linked in this TikTok, in our TikTok shop and on Amazon. Okay, yes, 운동하다. Back to this question. 운동하다 is to exercise. And it is also another separable hada verb. And we know when you have a separable hada verb, you have to put an in the middle of the noun, between the noun and hada. Is it written with a space after an? Yes, it is. You have a space after an before the verb. Okay, so Mary는 운동. 운동 is the noun to exercise. And again, you can put an object particle if you like. It is optional. 운동을 안 해요. Can you give me an example of a verb that can't be separated? Sure. So a verb that can't be separated. So there's lots of verbs that can't be things like 마시다 or 먹다. They can't be separated, right? But there are also hada verbs that cannot be separated. One of them is 좋아하다. 좋아하다 cannot be separated. That's because 좋아 by itself is not a noun. This is a complete word by itself. It is not combined of a noun and hada. It's just one complete word. And also a lot of descriptive verbs are not separable either. For example, like 똑똑하다. That means to be smart, to be intelligent. And again, 똑똑 is not a noun, it's not a word, but this entire thing is a word. 똑똑하다 is one set word, it means to be smart, but it's not separable because 똑똑 is not a noun by itself. Whereas separable hada verbs like 운동하다, 공부하다, they contain nouns. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. Okay. C. I do not study English. 뚱뚱하다. This is 똑똑하다. 뚱뚱하다 I think means, is that to be fat? Anyway, I do not study English. Okay, so we're using I, 저는. I. Does anyone know what the word to study is? Anyone remember this verb to study in Korean? 공부, yes. 공부 is study. That is a noun. So we have yet another separable hada verb. We have the noun 공부 and hada together. 공부하다 means to study. The other part we need to know is this word for English. English in Korean is 영어. 저는 영어를 안 So this one is a little bit tricky, right? We have the verb 공부하다, which is also separable. Remember, so it goes inside these two, the separable 하다 verbs. So 저는 영어를 공부 안 해요. Now this one is a little bit tricky because there's a couple different ways you can say this. And in fact, the most natural way is probably actually to put the object particle after 영어 공부. Because English study is kind of like one word almost, studying English study. So you can just put the object particle after this instead, and it still connects it to the verb. So 저는 영어 공부를 안 해요. But you could also say 저는 영어를 공부 안 해요. But it's a little bit unnatural to say 저는 영어를 공부를 안 해요. Using two object particles is a little bit strange. So kind of just choose which way you put it. And given this expression, the type of sentence you're making, 영어 공부를 is probably the most natural way to say this. Where did I get this book? It's on our website. It's on Amazon. Can I say 저는 영어? 영어. 저는 영어. No, it's 영어. If you have video explanations like this for each section of the workbook, then I'd buy it. Yeah, I mean, I do sections explaining this on TikTok, and then I upload them to YouTube, so you can do both. So if you want to look at previous lessons on YouTube as well as doing it in person, doing it as this, you can do it. Okay, let's do the next question, D. Tom does not watch television. Can we say 저는 영어를 안 배워요? Yes, you can say that. That's a great sentence, your lovely sunshine. You're just using the verb 배우다 instead of 공부하다, and that's fine. Which book is this? This is the Level 1 workbook. This is what the cover looks like. I'll give you a couple seconds. You can take a screenshot if you like to try and find it later. It is on Amazon. It is on our TikTok shop. There is also a PDF available on our website if you prefer a digital copy. Can I say 저는 영어를 공부 안 해요? Yes, you can absolutely say that. That is a great sentence. Good job, me. Okay, Tom does not watch television. So we start with the subject, right? 톰은. Tom ends on a consonant sound, so we use 은. 톰은. Tom does not watch television. So the word for television in Korean, you can write it the full way. You can say television, or I'm just going to be lazy and say TV. TV. This isn't really formal, correct Korean. If I was being more proper, I would write out television, but I'm lazy. I'm just going to write TV. 톰은 TV를 안. What is the verb to watch in Korean? Could it also be Tommy? Yes, you could say Tommy as well. 보다, yes. The verb to watch is 보다, and in present tense, it becomes 봐요. Tom은 TV를 안 봐요. Tom does not watch television. My goodness, he does not drink coffee and he does not watch television. What does Tom do with all his time? I do not know. Again, I'm not sure we could be friends, but that's fine. What is lir? Lir is the object particle. The object, Tom is sad, yes. The object particle connects this noun to the verb. All it does is show that TV is the thing, the object of the watching. It is the thing being watched. Tom watches TV. Okay. Do you speak a little bit of Spanish? I do not. I apologize. E. That movie is not good. Okay, so we've got some new words we need to know. First off, does anyone know what the word for movie is? Thank you, Cami Cams. Glad to have you here. Does anyone know what movie is in Korean? 영화. Is that beautiful? Movie is 영화. 영화. And that is 그 영화. That movie is not good. What about the verb to be good? Does anyone remember? We had it's just on the edge of this page. Ooh, is that? Nice sentence. Yes, there are a couple different ways we could say this sentence. The verb 좋다 means to be good, so I'll do this version first, but then I'll show you there are some other ways to say this as well. That movie is not good. 그 영화. And again, you could use 가 or 는. 가 or 는 그 영화가 or 그 영화는 안 좋아요. Or you could say 재미 없어요. 재미없어요 means to not be interesting, not be fun. So you could say 그 영화가, 그 영화는 안 좋아요 or 재미없어요. Either one is fine. For that movie is not good. That movie, not good. 안 좋아요. Why can't I use 를 for movie? That is an excellent question. Okay, so notice how in all of these previous sentences, we're using active verbs. We're using work, exercise, study, watch. All of these verbs include actions that you do. And when you're doing actions, you use the object particle. But good is not an action, right? It's not a thing that you do. It's a description of something being some way. And when you're describing something, you need to use either the subject or the topic particle. And by default, unless there's some other sort of context going on, you could probably just say 가, but it depends on the situation. In this case, you can just sort of use either. That movie is not good. But you cannot use the object particle because 좋아요, to be good, is not an action that you do. You only use the object particle when you're doing actions. It comes from being, isn't that an action? Well, I mean, I don't want to get philosophical, I suppose. But in Korean anyway, you have these two broad types of verbs. You have active verbs and you have descriptive verbs. And generally they either fit into one of those two categories. And active verbs like this, watching, exercising, studying, those all involve the object particle. And verbs that are more to do with describing things, good, bad, tasty, fun, bad, anything like that, those use the subject particle. Thank you, Woof. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, let's do some multiple choice questions. Let's answer these. The first one is A. The grammar form an is placed, 1, at the start of the sentence, B, before a noun, 3, before a verb, or 4, at the end of a verb. Where is an placed? 3, woof, yes, beautiful. It is placed before a verb. That is where an goes in a sentence. B, when using an with separable hada verbs, an should be placed, 1, in front of the hada verb, in the middle of the hada verb, or an can go anywhere in a sentence. So if you're using a separable hada verb, where should an go? Right, good job. It should go in the middle. Okay. C, when using an with non-separable hada verbs, an should be placed, 1, in front of the hada verb, 2, in the middle of the hada verb, or 3, an can go anywhere in the sentence. Yes, when you have a non-separable hada verb, it should go in the front. Can you show an example for B? Yes. So an example of this taking place is with a verb like 공부하다. 공부하다 means to study, and it is a separable hada verb. So you say 공부 안 Conversely, an example for this is a verb like 좋아하다, which means to like something, and that always becomes 안 좋아해요. So you could say 좋아 안 해요 and everyone would understand you, but it would sound very unnatural. You always should say 안 좋아해요 and 공부 안 해요. So it depends whether the verb is separable or non-separable. Unfortunately, there's no way that you can easily tell if a hada verb is separable or non-separable. It kind of comes with time. It takes a certain amount of memorization. But 좋아하다 is non-separable and 공부하다 is separable. Okay. And I think someone was asking to see the cover. This is the cover of the book right here. If you want to try and find it, it is also linked on our profile and on Amazon, everything like that. It's on our website. You can find it there as well. Thank you, Gabby. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness. I just got these little kittens and they are wanting some attention. Okay. Hi. All right. Let's look at another one. Do you have actual classes where you teach? I do not, although my business partner does tutor. Okay. D. Which of the following is incorrect? 1. 저는 공부 안 해요. 2. 저는 공부를 안 해요. Or 3. 저는 안 공부해요. So which is incorrect? So we've just been practicing this, right? When you have a verb like 공부하다, which is separable, you need to put 안 in the middle. So this one is incorrect. You can use the object particle if you like, it's optional. So either of these sentences are fine and they mean the same thing, but this one is wrong. All right, E. Which of the following sentences is in the negative past tense? What does that mean? It means I didn't do something. I didn't do something in the past. So we have 1. 저는 점심을 안 먹었어요. 2. 저는 점심을 안 먹을 거예요. 3. 저는 점심을 먹었어요. And 4. 저는 점심을 먹을 거예요. So we practiced tenses earlier in this book, and we have some different tense things going on. So these two we can rule out because they don't use an, right? So they're not in the negative. Those are quick to rule out. Between these two, this koyo is the future tense form, so we don't want that. The answer is 1. 안 먹었어요. 점심, which means lunch. I didn't eat lunch. I didn't eat lunch. And F, which of the following is in negative future tense? So, 1. 저는 운동할 거예요. 2. 저는 운동을 안 할 거예요. 3. 저는 운동했어요. Or 4. 저는 운동을 안 했어요. Yes, a lot of you guessing the right answer, which is 2. Good job. This one, and this one cannot be true because they are not in the negative tense. And this is the past tense, so we don't want that. The answer is 2. 저는 운동을 안 할 거예요 is in the negative future tense. That means I will not exercise. I will not exercise is what that means. I will not in the future exercise. Okay, we have one last page of exercises. We are doing some grammar combinations. So in this book, what we always try and do is when we introduce a new grammar form, you practice combining it with some grammar that we've learnt before. And in this case, we're going to combine it with past tense and future tense to make some more sentences. Mi is asking what is har. So this har it comes from the combination of hada with this koeo form. This koeo form is the future tense in Korean. And this ha, the lil kind of tucks underneath the ha, but it's part of this koeo form, which is the future tense. We're going to practice it more right now in this section. First, we're going to combine an with as also, which is the past tense. We're going to make some new sentences. And by the way, we do have a little marker here so that if you want to refresh, you can go back on this past tense is covered on page 60. So you can go back and look at it again if you want to sort of refresh what the past tense looks like if you're using this book. Okay, I didn't eat meat yesterday. Let's go bit by bit. The first part is I, which is 저는. 저는. Next we're going to say 어제, which is yesterday. 저는 어제. 저는 어제. Does anyone know what the word for meat is in Korean? The word for meat. We had it earlier, although it may be difficult to remember. 고기, beautiful. Good job. Meat is 고기. So, 저는 어제 고기를, because it's an action that you do, 저는 어제 고기를 안 먹어요. So, now this is didn't. I didn't eat meat yesterday. So we have to conjugate this 먹다 verb into the past tense, which is 먹었어요. 저는 어제 고기를 안 먹었어요. I did not eat meat yesterday. Okay. B. I didn't exercise yesterday. So this is, we'll do this one pretty quickly. 저는 어제. Now, exercise. I didn't exercise. How do we write this in Korean? Remember that to exercise is a separable hada verb, right? So we need to put an in the middle of 운동 and hada. 저는 어제 운동 안 하다 becomes 했어요. That is the past tense form of 하다. So 저는 어제 운동 안 했어요. I didn't exercise yesterday. Okay. C. Tom didn't study yesterday. Now we have Tom. Tom은 어제. Again, to study is a separable hada verb. So 공부 안 했어요. Tom은 어제 공부 안 했어요. Tom didn't study yesterday. D. Mary didn't drink tea yesterday. Does anyone know what the word for tea is? 운동을 안 했어요 okay too? Yes, 운동을 안 했어요 is perfect. Good job. That is also a great sentence. MST, thank you. Tea is 차. It is 차. Confusingly, this word 차 can also mean car. It can mean either depending on context, but 차 means tea as well. So Mary didn't drink tea yesterday. Mary는 어제 차를, how do we say I didn't drink something? I didn't drink something. Well, we have 안, right? That means didn't. And we have to conjugate the verb 마시다 into the past tense. 안 마시다 becomes 마셨어요. 안 마셨어요. 메리는 어제 차를 안 마셨어요. Mary didn't drink tea yesterday. And Sarah didn't eat lunch yesterday. What is the word for lunch in Korean? The word for lunch. Anyone know this word? 점심, MST, beautiful. 점심 is lunch in Korean. So Sarah는 어제. By the way, you can start with either 어제 or the subject. It doesn't really matter. So you could say 어제 저는 or 저는 어제. It's fine either way. 사라는 어제 점심을. How do we say I didn't eat? It's the same as up here, right? We did this earlier. 안 먹었어요. Sarah didn't eat lunch yesterday. 사라는 어제 점심을 안 먹었어요. All right. Now we have our final activity, which is to combine 안 with also 올 것이다, which is the future tense in Korean. And again, if you want to check what the future tense is or how to do conjugations with that, you can check the reference page to refresh on that. But let's have a go at it together. So A is tomorrow I won't work out. Why don't we write yesterday? How are we supposed to say if we didn't want to specify? So yesterday is 어제. We put it in all of the sentences. This is the level 1 workbook. This is the cover. Can I buy the textbook even if I live in Europe? Yes, you can. There are Amazon stores that stock it all throughout Europe, depending on your country. You can check the Amazon stores in Italy, France, Germany, Netherlands, wherever you are. There is also a PDF copy available if you prefer, or if you're in a country that doesn't have this book in physical copies, you can get the PDF. You can even just print the PDF at your home computer if you want. Keep in mind, though, that it is about 170-ish odd pages, so the printing would not be cheap, but is available. Can I get it in the US? Yes, absolutely. It is in our TikTok shop, it is on Amazon, it is on our website. We ship in the US, so yes, absolutely. Okay, A, tomorrow I won't work out. The first question was, what is tomorrow? And I see people wrote it down, so thank you. Tomorrow is 내일. 내일 means tomorrow. Tomorrow I won't work out. So we start with the subject, which is me. 저는 내일. I will not work out tomorrow. Remember that 운동하다 is a separable 하다 verb. So we start with the noun. 운동, 안. And again, you can say 운동을 is also fine. I can put it in brackets just to make that clear. You can add an object particle if you like. 운동을 안. Now in the future tense, it becomes 할 거예요. 할 거예요. This is the future tense conjugation of 하다. 저는 내일 운동을 안 할 거예요. or 운동 안 할 거예요. I will not exercise tomorrow. Okay. Can I talk some Korean sentences? I mean, I'm saying these sentences. Which book should I start with if I already know how to read and write, but I'm not good with grammar? I would start with these books. I would start with the grammar textbook. This is the textbook right here, and then get the workbooks to match. 자, 그럼 B. I will not read a book tomorrow. I will not read a book tomorrow. 해볼 거예요. Let's try it. I'm putting in some more Korean for you, me. I will not read a book tomorrow. So the subject is first 저는. It's talking about myself, right? We have 2 vocab words here to practice. Let's first, what is the word for book? Does anyone know the word for book in Korean? Zoe, yes. Book is check. Check is book. And the other question, to read. Woo, yes, perfect, thank you. Anyone also can provide the word to read. Emma, beautiful. It is 읽다. 읽다 is to read. So I will not read a book tomorrow. 저는 내일, tomorrow. 책을 안 읽을 거예요. 읽을 거예요 is the future tense conjugation of the verb 읽다, to read. Again, we practiced this earlier in the future tense chapter. 저는 내일 책을 안 읽을 거예요. I will not read a book tomorrow. C. I won't watch a movie tomorrow. What is, first question, what is movie in Korean? 영화, beautiful. 영화 is movie. And what is watch? What is the verb to watch in Korean? 보다. Thank you. 보다 is to watch. So put this all together. I won't watch a movie tomorrow. 저는 I 내일 tomorrow. 영화 movie, object particle, 안. How do we conjugate 보다 into, I don't understand the 읽을 거예요. Yeah, I can go back to that a little bit. 안 볼 거예요. So, this future tense ending, I'll very quickly do some rules here. So basically, depending on if there is a final consonant of the verb or not, that just means if the verb ends on a consonant sound or on a vowel sound. So 읽다 ends on a consonant sound, right? If it ends on a consonant sound, you attach 거예요. That is the future tense. The future tense is 읽을 거예요. And it becomes 읽을 거예요. But a verb like 보다 ends on a vowel sound. So that becomes, the lir goes on the bottom. And it just becomes 볼 거예요. So you have to know whether the vowel ends on a consonant, whether the verb ends on a vowel or a consonant, and that will tell you how you can conjugate this future tense form, this 읽을 거예요 form. I read often that the present tense works for the future. Yes. Do I use it jaju? That is very true. And actually it's the same in English. You can say things like, you know, I'm going to the store. That means, you know, or I go, what's an, actually, I'm trying to think. Oh, I'm going to Korea this year, right? That's the present tense, right? Oh, I go to Korea this year. But it also means the future. So you can say 저는 내일 영화를 봐요. You can just say that you can use the present tense too. But if you want to specifically say the future tense, you can say 영화를 안 볼 거예요. What book is it? It is the Level 1 workbook. This is the cover. Feel free to check it out. It's linked in this TikTok live stream. It's on our profile. Links to it's on our profile. It's on our website. It's on Amazon, all those places, so check it out. All right, how long did it take me to learn Korean? I'm still learning. I learn every day, but I've been learning Korean for about, 7 or 8 years now, I think, about that. Okay, Sarah won't drink coffee tomorrow. Sarah won't drink coffee tomorrow. So we have 2 words we need to know. Coffee in Korean is 커피. 커피. Be careful with this noun because if you say Copy, like this, if you say it with an O sound, a deep sound, that means nosebleed. Of course, if you go to a cafe and you order copy, they'll know that you mean coffee, obviously. They won't try to give you any noseblood, but literally copy means nosebleed and cupy means coffee. So try to get that pronunciation down. It's not the end of the world if you mess it up, but So coffee is kapi and to drink is 마시다. 마시다 is to drink, and in the future tense we will practice conjugating that as well. So Sarah won't drink coffee tomorrow. 사라는 is Sarah. 내일 is tomorrow. Sarah tomorrow. Coffee. 커피를 안. Now 마시다 ends on a vowel sound, right? So the 리을 is going to go underneath. 안 마실 거예요. 사라는 내일 커피를 안 마실 거예요. Sarah will not drink coffee tomorrow. And lucky last, Tom will not go tomorrow. Tom will not go. We've got a new verb here. Does anyone know what the verb to go is in Korean? To go. Beautiful, yes. It is 가다. 가다 means to go. Good job, me. Amazing. I'm proud of you. E. Tom will not go tomorrow. Now we have Tom. Tom은 내일, tomorrow. Tom tomorrow. Now, to go also ends on a vowel sound. So we're going to be adding this conjugation here. 내일. 안, I will not. 갈 거예요. Tom tomorrow won't go. Tom will not go tomorrow. Tom will not go tomorrow. Tom은 내일 안 갈 거예요. Okay. Beautiful. Perfect. Good job, everybody. So that is the last exercise for an. There is also a dictation exercise, which I'm not going to do in this live stream, but definitely if you get the book, do this dictation exercise. Basically, you follow the QR code, you listen to a track, and you write down what you hear. So do that if you get the book. But for now, that brings us to the end of the live stream. We today 끝났어요. 네, 끝났습니다. We finished an, this chapter here, an AV. And next time we're going to be doing G anta, which is another useful grammar form. What was the question? How much does the book cost? Depends what version you get it in. The paperback, I think is $18. And the PDF is $14, I think. It's around there. When is the next lesson? I usually do Fridays, but I'm thinking of doing one on Monday this week. I'm not sure. Usually I do every Friday, but I'm thinking about trying a Monday, maybe, because I have time on Mondays as well. But yeah, next time, maybe Monday. If you don't see me Monday, it'll be Friday. We'll do G anta. This is similar to an, but it's a little bit different as well. So they're both really commonly used. They're both very useful expressions. So if you want to come back and do some more practice, come back then. 또 봐요. 네, 감사합니다. And yeah, so thank you guys all so much. If you guys have questions, I'm happy to stick around for a little bit and answer some questions. 감사합니다. 네, 감사합니다. 또 봐요. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Thanks. Bye. This is the cover right here in case you want to check it one more time. Yes, we do have it for sale. You can buy it through TikTok Shop. I believe sometimes there are offers and things through TikTok Shop if you're in the US. If you're outside of the US, I recommend checking on Amazon. if you have Amazon in your country. If that's not an option, I recommend the PDF. The PDF is available through our website. It's also cheaper. You can print the PDF if you want to have a physical copy. This book also does come with answers in the back, so if you are self-studying, there is a full list of answers in the back, and we also put in quite a few little notes as well. So if you are self-studying, these help you a lot, just kind of giving you tips, as little things like that we think would be useful. But yeah, check it out. Thank you guys all for being here. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. Which one would you recommend for beginners? Writing conversation in Korean, or level 1 workbook. If you are a beginner, I recommend starting with the workbooks. Again, don't forget the textbook if you want to have both. You don't necessarily need the textbook because you can Google the stuff in here and you can practice. You can read stuff find stuff online. If you want to get both though, you can. But I would start here. The Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners book is a little bit of a higher level. I recommend this book once you kind of know everything in this workbook at least. This is kind of later on. So if you're a beginner, I'd start with this. If this was too easy, we do have a level 2 as well. So there's a level 2 workbook, and there is also a level 3 workbook. So you can check out these different options. There are a couple different levels available, but start with level 1 if you are a beginner. Yes, thank you. Yeah. 저는 내일 공부를 할 거예요. 대단하다. Amazing. I love that. 감사합니다. These books are great. Thank you, Dee. I appreciate that. We did put a lot of time and effort into them, and I'm glad people are enjoying them. So, yeah, thank you. All right, I'm gonna go have some dinner. But thank you, Ev. I have them all. You're amazing. Thank you. 배우고 있습니다. 네, 좋아요. 감사합니다. 잘 먹었습니다. Thank you. I'll have a good dinner. Hope you guys also have a great evening, a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you. See you later. Bye. 또 봐요.